So is gluten really the villain it's made out to be, or is it just another health trend? So some people swear by going gluten-free while others eat it daily with no issues. But what does science actually say about gluten and gut health? Hi, I'm Dr. Partha Nandi, a University of Michigan trained gastroenterologist and New York Times bestselling author. So let's break down gluten. So gluten is one of the most controversial topics in the health world. For some, it's a harmless protein found in wheat, barley, and rye. For others, it's the cause and culprit of bloating, brain fog, fatigue, and digestive distress. But here's the big question. How do you know if gluten is actually a problem for you? And if it is, what's happening in your gut that makes it so harmful? So let's talk about what happens when you eat gluten. So gluten's a protein that helps give bread its chewy texture. But for certain people, gluten can trigger an immune response in the gut, which leads to inflammation and digestive issues. So this happens in different ways depending on the person. So in people with celiac disease, this is a severe autoimmune reaction where the body attacks the small intestine whenever gluten is consumed. Now this leads to nutrient malabsorption, digestive pain, and long-term health complications. Now what about folks with non-celiac gluten sensitivity, NCGS? Now, these are folks without celiac disease, but that can still experience bloating, fatigue, and gut inflammation after eating gluten. I have a lot of patients with this. While there's no clear test for NCGS, many people report feeling significantly better when they remove gluten from their diet. I've seen this with my patients, and the effects of removing gluten in their diet is almost immediate. What about people with wheat allergy? So some people are allergic to wheat, which can cause symptoms like hives, breathing issues, and even digestive discomfort. And so, those folks can have some problems. Another question, does gluten actually cause leaky gut? So one of the biggest concerns with gluten is its potential to contribute to something called leaky gut syndrome. Now, gluten contains a protein called zonulin, which can increase gut permeability by weakening the tight junctions between intestinal cells. So for people with pre-existing gut issues, this means that undigested food particles and toxins that can leak into the bloodstream, and this can trigger inflammation and immune responses. And what happens is that over time, this can contribute to conditions like autoimmune disease, chronic fatigue, and even brain fog. So then you say, how do I know if gluten's a problem for me? So if you suspect gluten is affecting your gut health, let's try an elimination diet. So first, cut out gluten completely for 3 to 4 weeks, and then pay attention to symptoms like bloating, joint pain, skin issues, and even brain fog. Let's reintroduce gluten and see if symptoms return. If you notice a clear difference, you may actually have some level of gluten sensitivity. So what are some alternatives to gluten? What are the best alternatives to gluten, let's say? So if you're looking to avoid gluten but still enjoy a varied diet, here's some great swaps. So replace white bread with sourdough or sprouted grain bread. Actually better for you too, right? Swap pasta for quinoa. My older son loves quinoa. You can swap it for lentil or chickpea pasta. Also, you can use almond or coconut flour for baking. Choose naturally gluten-free grains like brown rice, millet, and buckwheat. Now we know gluten affects people differently, and the best way to know if it's right for you is to experiment with your diet. Have you ever tried going gluten-free? Let me know your experience in the comments.